What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Cryptid Saturday, and in today's Cryptid Saturday, we are going over the cryptids of North Carolina. Um, like I usually say, it's got some interesting ones, it's got some not so interesting ones, it's got some throwbacks to ones that have been in every other state, it's got some new ones. So, all that being said, I guess, why don't you guys drop some comments down below real quick? Are you guys from North Carolina? Do you know any of the cryptids from there that may potentially be on this list? And while you're down there, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And let's go ahead and hop into this article. Like I always like to say, though, guys, I don't know the rights to any of these articles. I just use them to push along information. This particular article comes from uncorked-ville.com. Please go over there and show them some love. This is North Carolina cryptids, urban legends, and folklore. 10 fascinating tales. So we might actually get some good descriptions in this one. Bigfoot. If you're going to talk about North Carolina cryptids, you are almost obliged to start with the one and only Bigfoot. Of course, it would be disingenuous to say that Bigfoot has its roots on the east coast of the US. But there have been over 100 reported sightings in North Carolina, so perhaps it vacations here frequently. It probably goes without saying that Bigfoot is reported to be a large ape-like creature that roams the forests of North America. Bigfoot is one of the world's most famous creatures, with debate as to its existence still raging on today. Adding fuel to the fire is the fact that there is just so much evidence that supposedly proves Bigfoot is real, including almost 1 minute of notoriously blurry footage taken by civilians in 1976. Yes, they're talking about the Patterson Gimlin film, and credit where credit is due. No one has managed to disprove that. No one's also managed to prove it. I think Bigfoot is real. There is tons of evidence that it could be real. But on the other side of that, it could also be a bunch of bears. It could also be a case of misidentification. North Carolina isn't exactly not known for having hillbillies. So, I mean, there could be some crazy people who live out in the woods. So really, you just never know. But let me know what you guys think. The monster of Lake Norman. Headed out to Lake Norman near Charlotte, and you might hear tales of the Lake Norman monster. Just like its Scottish counterpart in Loch Ness, the Lake Norman monster is a beast that has been reportedly sighted by locals both on and near the water. And just like Nessie in Loch Ness, the monster of Lake Norman is known locally as Normie. There are differing accounts of what species Normie belongs to. Some believe it to be a large alligator. Others think Normie is an oversized catfish or sturgeon. Yo, these guys are doing my job for me. Like, this is good. Like, these are all things that I would think. No matter which account you hear, the one thing that all have in common is that Normie is a very large creature and possibly one of the largest North Carolina monsters around. Some part of the legend is linked to the fact that Lake Norman is man-made. It was created by flooding and submerging a town that contains multiple houses, churches, farms, and fields, all of it Normie's territory. Many of those buildings are still fully built under the water, and divers frequently swim down to explore them, possibly catching glimpses of Normie in the process. If you're hoping to catch monsters near Asheville, try. Yeah. So they did it for me. That's what it could be, or it could be a giant monster down there, swimming around, eating that ate all the dead bodies back in the day, and now lives in a town. I mean, but also if you're swimming through buildings and stuff like that, like it's creepy, and your mind will start to wander into like crazy places. So I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. Boojum, Boojum. Back in 1900s, an eccentric developer named S.C. Sat named S.C. Satterthwaite. I'm gonna apologize for my mispronunciations of these things ahead of time, because yeah, I messed that up. Built the Eagle's Nest Hotel high up in Northern Carolina's mountains near Waynesville. Unfortunately, despite being a high-class establishment, it was plagued by the appearance of a strange and unusual creature. This being, nicknamed the Boojum by locals, was said to be 7 feet tall, covered in shaggy hair all over, remind you of anyone, and had two particular habits. First, it was exceedingly fond of gems and is said to be plentiful in North Carolina mountain area. Second, it loved to spy on young ladies trying to bathe in the rivers and lakes of the area. According to the legend, most ladies ran away in fear when they spied the face of the Bujum staring at them, but one in particular did not flee. A girl named Annie, or Maggie in some versions, instead recognized the sadness and lonely soul in his eyes, fell in love, and married the Boojum instead. What makes this one of our favorite legends of North Carolina is the way Annie and the Boojum communicated, by hooting at each other. To know where they were, we got the word hootenanny. That's almost certainly untrue, but is that the origins of hootenanny? Hold on, it says by hooting at each other to know where they were. We got the word hootenanny. That's almost certainly untrue, but we love the idea. Could that really be where we got the phrase hootenanny from? Close to Waynesville, headed to Maggie Valley. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this just sounds like a pervert in the woods. Yeah, that's my best guess. I'm not even saying that's Bigfoot. I mean, Bigfoot's got weird tales like that too, but that just straight up sounds like this is some perverted dude that was just spying on people and stealing their money. Like, but yeah, so my money's on that was just a human. She even married it. So it had to have been at least some form of a human. Of course, that's only if the legend is true, but I'm really hoping it is. Because, like, that's almost like a weird love story. The Mermaids of Cape Fear River. Roughly 30 miles southwest of Raleigh, North Carolina, where Haw River and Deep River meet and combine to form Cape Fear River, lies our next place of North Carolina folklore, Mermaid Point. It was near here where in the 18th century a man named Ambrose Ramsey decided to build a tavern in a small community called Lockville. Patrons of Ramsey's Tavern would walk home past a long white sandbar in the middle of the river confluence. Some reported sightings of mermaids there. Witnesses believed the beautiful sea creature had come up from the Atlantic to wash the salt out of their hair. Ramsey had hoped that the burgeoning Lockville town would thrive, and therefore so would his business. Sadly, that was not to be the case. A flood destroyed the tavern in the late 1800s, and coincidentally, that's when sightings of the mermaid stopped. I don't think it was a mermaid. Could have been like a big fish or something. Or it was this guy filling this little void thing to try and create some weird, mermaid tourism into the area. And then whenever the flood, which is kind of ironic that its tavern would have gotten taken out by a flood. But yeah, so those are kind of my best guesses. The Beast of Bladdenboro. For one winter in 1953 through 54, the town of Bladdenboro was beset by a string of mysterious attacks in what is undoubtedly one of the scariest North Carolinian cryptids around. Beginning on December 29th, local townspeople began to find the bodies of animals, dogs, rabbits, even a goat that had been viciously mauled and or crushed by an unknown creature. Most mysteriously, some of them appeared to have had almost all of their blood drained. This lasted for a couple weeks, with some witnesses attesting that they had caught a glimpse of a creature like either a bear or a panther with a long tail and a cat-like face. One chilling account even describes a noise like a crying baby as it passed by in the bushes. No one is to this day, sorry, no one to this day has been able to agree on exactly what species of the beast of Bladdenboro was, or whether it is still at large today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one was just a mountain lion. Like I think it was a panther. I think they caught some things, and yeah, that's my answer to that. That is a mountain lion. The Wilmington sea serpent. The city of Wilmington has a rich history, but one of the oldest parts of it concerns the legend of Willie the Wilmington sea serpent. Way back before the USA was born in 1524, the Italian explorer Veranzo, Giovanni de Veranzo, bleh, give me a second. Giovanni de Verrazzano was exploring the Cape Fear region of the East Coast. In his journal, he wrote of a great snake that one of his men reportedly saw resting on the waves near the shore. There were further recorded instances, including those by Earl of Wilmington in 1732, as well as by Union soldiers and naturalist James Calden in 1865. Calden told of locals who reported a gray creature 40 feet long and 4 feet wide, which they named after the town. If Willie is still around today, it would be around 500 years old, making it one of the oldest North Carolina cryptids on the list. So I'm fairly positive what they saw on that beach was an oarfish, and they just never seen one before, and they're kind of rare, so I think you just couldn't like chop it up to a actual fish. But so they just thought it was like a serpent of some kind, and they do look very serpent-like. But they are the world's longest bony fish, and that like fills this little gap in here perfectly, in my opinion. So, and I'm fairly positive that that's what it was. It's just an oarfish. Ulagu, Ulagu. This North Carolina folklore is part of Cherokee legend. There was once a great yellow jacket that roamed the skies of Nantahala River in modern-day Macomb County. The creature was named Ulagu. It was as large as a house and could snatch children up and carry them away. In order to trap Ulagu, the locals people tried to lure it with food, first with a squirrel, then a turkey, then a deer ham, but Ulagu simply carried them all away. Eventually, they used a yearling deer, which was heavy enough to slow Ulagu down. The people tracked it to a cave filled with thousands of other smaller yellow jackets. There they set fires and engulfed Ulagu in smoke. But the smaller yellow jackets outside the cave escaped and spread out the world. Today, the cave is still known as Tiscaguni, meaning where the yellow jacket was. So that is like a really cool myth on where yellow jackets came from. I really don't want to say anything else about that because I'd love for that giant thing to be real. Uh, but also on that, I digress. Why don't you guys let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. While you're down there, why don't you let me know what you thought of all of these cryptids that we've went over in this video? And while you're also down there as well, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another Cryptid Saturday, and follow me on all my social medias, which are coming up next in this video. So without further ado, guys, I will see you next Saturday for Cryptid Saturdays.